Thank you very much. In addition to that, I was also the Executive Director of Sport for the International Paralympic Committee, so I have very much a heart in Paralympics. Spent 16 years with the Paralympic movement, which is also where I discovered the Commonwealth. As many of you, I recognize some familiar faces. Many of you will recognize my accent is not Glaswegian. I'm American, originally from New Orleans, have been involved in sport for years, but really found something really special in the Commonwealth Games in 2002 in Manchester, a Games that really was quite transformational and quite motivating. One of the things that was quite powerful was it really, I think, put the UK in the limelight in terms of not sport for sport's sake, but the transformational impact of sport. With the success of the Commonwealth Games in Manchester, and now the success of London 2012, both Olympic and Paralympics, Glasgow, it's almost coming full circle in some respects. What I wanted to present to you today is a bit of our game plan. How do we manage all of this, really expectations that have been set? And also, and just to be very frank, how do we capitalize on what I'm calling the double bounce of both the Olympics and the Paralympics, and meet our own expectations, and to be quite honest, deliver a fantastic experience, in some cases onto Rio in 2016, in other cases just locally for the people of Glasgow, the people of Scotland, and the people throughout the UK. I think one of the things I will talk a little bit about at the end is also the positioning of the Commonwealth Games in the context and how important that fraternity is, and what we're trying to do to invoke a conversation on really what is the Commonwealth, and as Commonwealth citizens, what it means to be the Commonwealth. So to give you some perspective in terms of the scope and scale of our event, it's not too dissimilar to the size of the Paralympic Games, except a few less countries in terms of, just in terms of its global reach, but not insignificant by any means. Glasgow 2014 will reach a television audience of 1.5 billion for a single event over 11 days. We're looking at selling 1 million tickets. And with the buzz and hype that has been created by London 2012, what we're getting back, not only in the Scottish market, but across the UK, is a real interest in terms of keeping the dream and excitement and the inspiration alive, which is absolutely fantastic. So in some cases, we hope to have the same challenge of demand that London 2012 has had for both the Olympics and the Paralympics, and no doubt in terms of that home nation appeal and that distinctiveness in terms of the Commonwealth Games, we think we'll be able to really achieve that. 15,000 volunteers, and for Scotland, that is a particularly high number in terms of the single most mobilization of workforce in terms of peacetime that's ever been assembled in a Scottish event context. 30,000 contractors, which will deliver services across the Games. 6,500 athletes and team officials, of which 4,300 are athletes. And I think what's important to also recognize is that the Commonwealth Games includes a robust program for parasport as well, and that was started in Manchester. We have 22 events over 5 sports for parasport. 2,500 journalists, 1,044 staff, and we're already up to 180 as of date. Nothing in comparison to LOCOG, but still not insignificant. 71 nations and territories, and as I said also, is that this is a chance for the home nations to compete in their own right, which is a very distinct opportunity in terms of how we market the Games and also bring the UK together and ramp up motivation around this event. Very different than the Team GB or Paralympics GB promotion in the lead up to London 2012. 40 venues, so again, not insignificant. That includes both competition and non-competition, and 17 sports, of which 4 are that of the Commonwealth, or specific to the Commonwealth. 3 up until Rio. Rugby will join the ranks of being an Olympic sport in Rio, but we also, of course, have netball, squash, and lawn bowls as well. The buzz from London has already had athletes, those that are aspiring, those that are inspiring, and those that are retiring, excited about Glasgow 2014. And the context, some of the first times we've actually heard athletes refer to themselves as Commonwealth athletes. This is a designation that has been somewhat mysterious or mystified in some respects, or just not used. And so what we started to see is Usain Bolt, Hoy, Ennis, Wiggins, you name it, they want to be in Glasgow in 2014. And really where that has come from is the excitement around the UK and the UK support and how the UK has embraced their brands as athletes. On the road to Rio, and within a UK context, people want more. People want more, and no doubt the heroes that are coming out of the Paralympics will also have a place aspiring to Glasgow 2014. Our mission, very, very simple: athlete-centered, sport focus, a celebration throughout the Commonwealth, and of course, a lasting legacy for Glasgow, Scotland, and may I say, also the Commonwealth. So just to give you some hometown figures, 72% of Scots are now pleased the Games are taking place in Scotland, and 85% of Glasgow residents believe the Games will have a positive effect to the city. And this is before we've done any real marketing. We've done a lot of positioning to build confidence. We've done a lot of positioning to really establish the foundation of an organizing committee, a Commonwealth Games organizing committee. But we've done very, very little in terms of inspiring and exciting people around what is to come. And there was no point in competing with London 2012 in that space. Sport was going to be talked about. Sport was going to be very relevant in the psyche. Now, launching on from the success of London 2012, being able to capitalize on a UK-wide legacy of sport and culture, Glasgow 2014 is in a fantastic place to start telling our story. So our game plan isn't done alone. We've been very, very Glasgow-centric, Scottish-centric to this point. And as you see, these are some of our Games partners. We are working very, very widely also with the international federations of sport. We're working very widely with a number of the governing bodies of British sport to make sure that Glasgow 2014 is on the pathway. We've also started to bring on a number of our sponsors, and it's very interesting what we are experiencing in terms of the sponsor territory is a real interest to either be at Glasgow in terms of its strategic direction or brand development, Scotland-wide, UK-wide, or Commonwealth and beyond. So really, for example, Longines has really aspirations throughout the Commonwealth and beyond, and using Glasgow 2014 to really to accentuate its pillars of tradition, precision, and elegance. And that fits very nicely with their brand. Scottish Southern Energy is very focused with all of their devolved sub-brands throughout the UK, is really looking to capitalize on the team concept and uniting the UK going to the Commonwealth Games. So we have BBC as our domestic rights holder. We have Network 10 in Australia, and we are currently out in the market with the rest of the 71 nations of the Commonwealth selling TV rights, and also coming up with creative ways of showcasing the Commonwealth and ensuring that every country or territory of the Commonwealth has access to what we have on offer. One of the great things is that we have a tremendous archive going back to 1930 of Commonwealth images, and again, aspiring, inspiring, and retired stars of sport that have really made their marks, but also have come through the Commonwealth on the world stage. And I think that really shows the breadth and history of the Commonwealth. The key, and I'll talk about this at the end, is where do we go from here? So really we're positioning the games. This isn't just an opportunity to watch an event. It's really an opportunity to be an event, to be the games. And this is a challenge. It's a call for action. By simply throwing up values in the air and just talking big words, that doesn't really invoke change. It doesn't really deliver much. What we're doing is actually trying to do something with the brand, trying to do something with the journey to the event. So what we've done is we've put a couple of core messages, themes. We're an elite sporting event. We're an event that is electric in terms of the excitement, and we're also accomplishing some very, very essential elements, which I'll talk to. The aspirations behind Glasgow 2014 for Glasgow and for Scotland were probably greater than the games themselves in some respects, and I think that that's something I'll talk to. In terms of how we are tackling this, well, certainly we have a Glasgow 2014 brand, which really talks to the games themselves. But what's being brought forward by the games, whether it's the infrastructure development, whether it's the social cohesiveness, skills development, business development, that's also one of the biggest, most important ambitions that was foreseen following Manchester 2002, and which was the inspiration for Glasgow's pursuit of the Commonwealth Games, as being a transformational force to change the face of how people work together and the face of a city that has big aspirations and that has dared greatly in the past. So we're taking very much a legacy focus and a brand development focus and bringing those together. And in many respects, that legacy focus is what we call a legacy consciousness. The organizing committee is there, as really any organizing committee, for a very set period of time. So we'll fall off the face of the earth in 2014. However, there are plenty of agencies, organizations that are no question have been there for a long time, will be there during, and will be there well after. It's our responsibility as an organizing committee to leave them in a better place. And so what we do is we think every investment that we make, we try to ask the question, can we do more with this investment? Can we do more? Is there something that we can do to meet the ambitions locally, nationally, and really throughout the Commonwealth? And so by having that really at the center of our ethos, it helps us in terms of not only defending our position when we do make a decision, but also certainly have a greater trust and connectivity with people. Essentially what we're trying to do is give the games to the people. And I think one of the things that was absolutely evident, and probably one of the greatest lessons I learned, I've had the benefit of attending several games. This was my 8th games. And from that perspective, the game changer for me was the fact that both Olympians and Paralympians have become human or humanized through social media, through the stories, through the images and unprecedented angles and preparation shots and stories. These journeys to the games, these journeys in life, and these journeys at the games have been captured unlike anything before and talked about. And I think all of that humanity that has been wrapped up together now really has been very much a game changer and has really raised the bar on and the expectation on sport around the world. So from that perspective, we will be moving fast and furious like my presentation and trying to capitalize on that momentum. Our game plan, very, very simple, and I'll pass on to the next slide, has several themes. And I think what's quite important is that we need to remain positive. We need to introduce you to Glasgow 2014. We need to showcase how people are benefiting from the games, how people are contributing to the games, enjoying the sport, enjoying the destination that will be Glasgow in Scotland and its distinctiveness, and simply providing information of how you get there and what to expect. So of course, every good plan has a timeline, and we've plotted out for the benefit of ourselves, but also the benefit of all of our partners, some initial high-level milestones that target each of these themes that allow us, with our commercial partners and with our games planning partners, to really get the correct messaging, the correct tempo to be able to engage and think boldly. So benefiting from the games clearly is really what are the games doing for Glasgow, what are the games doing for Scotland, and what are they doing for the Commonwealth. Very easy, the overused word legacy. 3 points I can tell you right today that I've seen already. No question, venues and infrastructure has been brought forward by the games. Things that have been on the books for quite some time have been brought forward by the games and are both world-class and communally relevant. Commonwealth Arena will be open in just a month's time with the new Sir Chris Hoy Velodrome, which will already be bringing world-class events to that facility 2 years prior to our event. But at the same time, there's already community programming in that event. So that's one, no question, venues and infrastructure, easy legacy. How the public, private, and third sector are working together to be more efficient, to use this investment in terms of some of our public funding. 80% of our budget is public funding, is no question will leave a lasting legacy. And then finally, this journey, really starting since 2005 for Glasgow, is given reputation and recognition. So reputational enhancement and fantastic recognition that Glasgow is a sports city. Glasgow is now 9th on the list of ultimate sports cities. So no question, and pursuing the Glasgow 2018 Youth Olympic Games as well. So no question. I'm going to move very quickly to my final slide, just a matter of time. Only 686 days to go. Only. And whoever created countdown clocks, I have a thing to say to them. Not good for the anxiety. But the bottom line is that the Commonwealth is also in a very particular place right now. It's at a crossroads. And what Glasgow 2014 does have an opportunity to do is start a conversation of what it means to be a Commonwealth citizen and how do we invoke a sense of Commonwealth citizenship. Really sparked by those Commonwealth athletes. We're very excited about this proposition, and really the Commonwealth is alive and well. No question in terms of how it's engaged by the British royal family, its history, as well as, absolutely, as well as the union that pursues democracy, prosperity, and peace. And so from that perspective, those 3 elements are all very relevant, and we look forward to making the Games an opportunity to showcase that. Thank you very much.